Well, good morning. How are you this beautiful, hopefully where you are too, sunny morning? My name's Christine and I shall be your Google Digital Garage trainer for the morning. So welcome to this Google Digital Garage training session on digital marketing strategy. Again, today we're here in collaboration with the Restaurants Association of Ireland. This is our fifth and final webinar. In association and partnership together. But don't worry, I'll be telling you as we go through how you can go back and catch up on any you might either have missed, or maybe you'll be wanting to recap on some of the things that we have covered. So as I say, my name's Christine and I'm one of the trainers here on Google's free skills training program, the Google Digital Garage. I'm a marketeer by trade. I've been in marketing since before digital was a thing. What we're going to talk about today, the whole strategy element, is where I love hanging out. So alongside me today, I have the wonderful Melanie, and one of her key jobs today is going to be telling me to stop talking so much, to stop going into so much detail, and to make sure we get through everything we need to talk about today. So as I say, alongside me today, I have the wonderful Melanie. Melanie is also one of our Google Digital Garage coaches. She's going to be interacting with you. She's going to be answering your questions. She's already there. She's hanging out in the chat this morning, and if you want to get involved, you can be chatting along with Melanie. The other thing she's going to be doing is she's going to be posting a lot of useful links for you. So I do hope that you'll get involved. In order to do so, you're going to need a YouTube account, which you can very easily set up by clicking up in the box on the right there. Get yourself signed up or signed in. There's no charge to do so. And then you can get fully involved in the webinar. I will say the more questions we get in, the more involvement we have, the more we can tailor this session to what it is that you really want to know. You can tell you're speaking to Melanie and that she's the moderator. First of all, she's called Melanie. Secondly, she's got a little blue spanner next to her name, and she's going to be the one with all that helpful info for you. A little bit more housekeeping. If you've got any trouble viewing the webinar, just try refreshing your page. A little bit of turning it off and turning it back on again tends to do wonders. I am going to pause throughout the session to answer some of those questions from the chat box. Anything that's really super interesting, something that will be great for the whole group to hear, Melanie's going to send those questions over to me. So do get any burning questions about today's topic in as we go through. And we are also running more Google Digital Garage webinars in different subjects. So if you want to check out our schedule of upcoming webinar training, see the information on that in the description below. I will also remind you here that if you head to the Restaurant Association of Ireland's YouTube channel, then you will be able to see the other webinars that we've covered in the series so far. And just a reminder, they were all about building a website for your business, how to get your business visible online, starting up an online shop, and also getting started with digital advertising. So there's lots to go at there in terms of those great resources for you. Also, feel free to check out the new Google for Small Business website. That's your one-stop shop for the products, tools and training that you can use to help your business move forward. There's a simple step-by-step online success guide that will help you to show up on Google. You can see how to create or improve your website, reach more customers and build loyalty, and also to work effectively from anywhere. Melanie, we'll share a link in the chat now, or you can grab the link in the description box at any time. Finally, if you have any feedback from today's session, please complete the feedback form linked there again down in the description box. Once you complete the feedback form, a link's going to appear for you to download today's content, and you can also re-watch today's training. Okay, so I hope you've got your cup of tea ready. That's all our housekeeping done. Let's take a look at what we're going to be checking out today. So those of you who's joined us for some of our webinars so far, you'll know we always break them down into three things that we're going to look at. So first up, as we so often do, we're going to get you to take a step back. Take a step back, take a step up and look at the landscape. So we're going to have a think about digital marketing. What do we mean by digital marketing? What tools are available? We're going to take a look at the benefits, potentially, for a business like yours. Then we're going to go deeper into the different channels available. When I say channels, all I mean is there are lots of different ways that you, as a business, can use to communicate with your potential customers. And the channels are those links those ways that you can do that. So we'll take a look at some of those different ways that you can do that. That's a really full section, and I could happily talk for an hour about any of the set things we're going to talk about in that area, but I will be able to signpost you onto some of the resources, because all the time Melanie will be going, come on Christine, keep talking, hurry up. Because where I really want to spend some time today is in the third section, and that's all about how to pull together your digital marketing plan. With any Google Digital Garage session, what I want for you is you to go away with 1, 2, maybe 3 things that you can do kind of straight away that are going to get you feeling more confident and move your business forward. Obviously, with the way things are changing so quickly, I don't know how many, let us know how many of you opened yesterday for actually welcoming customers back. For those of you who do have outdoor areas that you can use. If not, you might still be in the planning stages for, fingers crossed, next month when you'll be able to bring people back. There's lots you can be doing now that make sure that however you open, reopen, whenever you reopen, you do it with the absolute most impact that you can have. And that's what I want to be included in your marketing plan. All right, so let's jump in first of all and have a think about digital marketing and what I'm meaning when I'm talking about that. All right, so this would be a great time for you guys to get involved because there are lots of benefits to being online as a business. I'm going to talk you through some of them that are kind of general benefits, but what will be great is, what do you think the benefits would be for your business? Let Melanie know if you like. Why are you here? What is it that you want to get from today? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to learn how to do? As I say, we'll go through, but remember all the time, whenever I'm involved, marketing's really, really simple. It's people talking to people. Okay, so marketing and digital marketing, strategizing and planning, it's all about finding the best ways to get your message across to the people who need to hear it, or for who you need to hear it. All right, so as I say, let us know. One of the key things about marketing, because it is just people talking to people, you might have noticed that over the last 5 or so years, the way humans behave has changed. I mean, we're not even talking about what's happened over the last year or so. Over the last 5 years, these things have come along. Smartphones. And we now live in a mobile world. And as I say, these numbers are pre-pandemic. And I do think that anecdotally, what we've done over the last 12 months is spend more time online. Just everybody in general, so their online time has shifted upwards. But in Ireland, 65% of people were already buying online. So your customers are there. Your customers are online. Your customers are buying using these things. Okay? Your customers are hanging out online. So that's where you need to be with them. There are almost 4 billion smartphones in use today. And mobile traffic across the globe now accounts for over half of the web traffic. So thinking about behaviour, we're not having to use the internet to ask a question, to find an answer, to find a business. We're not having to sit down, fire up a laptop, crank up our computers, wait for it to load up and boot up. We have the power of the internet with us all the time. And as I say, 50% of mobile traffic, I tend to use, if I'm sat down and doing work, I'll open a browser up and find what I need to know. If I'm out and about, if I'm in my leisure time, my behaviour is much more likely to grab my phone to ask those questions because that's where I'm hanging out. So think about, this is about humans. This is about behaviour. This is about meeting your potential customers where they might happen to already be. So using the power of the internet, you can reach more people online. You can expand your customer base. Really interesting, maybe a couple of years ago, all of the thoughts were that we could reach people globally. And as a restaurant, it might have not been so much use, because what you want to do is reach people locally, people who are new to the area, people who want to try something different, maybe people who are coming to the area when tourism restarts. How do you use the power of people looking locally? So how do you reach those people? And internet's a great way to do it. Lots of different ways to go about it that we'll talk as we go through. Must reference just quickly on the screen at the moment. One of my favourite tools is Google Trends. This is a fantastic tool, and it helps you compare the volume of searches. So very interestingly, here in Ireland, over the past 12 months, when this screenshot was taken, what had happened to the search term cut your own hair? This is real people really searching. And funnily enough, it bobbled along. People didn't really look for how to cut their own hair until last kind of April time. Last April, something happened that made people decide that they needed to find out whether it was possible to cut their own hair. And so what I'm saying with this is, as I say, this is called Google Trends. You go to trends.google.com and you can see behaviour, human behaviour in the data. I think those of you who joined me for how to get your business visible online, we went in depth into using Google Trends, went a little bit more depth. So do go back and check that out. I think the terms we used were probably recipes versus takeaways. And how do those two search terms interact? And how does that show what times people are looking for takeaways? What time? Do it with, table bookings, restaurant bookings. Book a table. How do they play out? When are people going online to make their plans for their weekend? Really interesting to learn and to find your customers and to see what those guys are up to. So learning about your customers, digital marketing opens up a world of data. We can find out information about the people who visit our website. The tool on the screen is just one of the charts from Google Analytics. This is the Google Analytics behavior report. It's the demographic report within the behavior section. Those of you who have your website, if you built your simple website, hopefully you did add in Google Analytics to it as well, because you can look at the data to see snapshots of the people who are visiting you. And it's really important to do, because rather than just sitting in your office, probably not in your restaurant, maybe even at the minute, or in an empty restaurant and thinking, okay, well, who are our customers? Who might they be? You can actually look at the data and see who is actually visiting the website. So who's coming along, and how many of those people are then translating into bookings. Maybe people are finding you and not translating into the booking. Okay, well, how can you make sure? The great thing about, and you're so lucky having a hospitality business, in that you can actually meet the people who are your current customers. And what do you know about them? You can learn a lot about them by talking to them, but you can also then back that up with the data. And are the people who are finding you by the website, are they booking and coming to you? If not, how can you appeal to them to get them to come along as well? There are lots of other social media insights tools as well. Most social media platforms, if you've got a business account, they will show you some basic demographics, when people are looking, what they're looking at. And you can use all of that data to find out about the types of people who are interested in you. So do, as I say, see what's available, see what you've already got, and see what you can learn about the data from the data about the people. It's all about the people, okay? And if we were here together in the room, Melanie can ask for a show of hands, I guess, in the chat if you like. But I know so many people who are on social media simply so they have a route to complain about things if they want to. There are people who write compliments by being online. When people like to talk about their experiences, positive and negative. So there's lots of ways that Humans, people, your potential customers can communicate quickly and easily, and they expect that. If I want to ask a question of a business, I expect it to be quite quick and easy to do. So how can you use that in your strategy? How can you think about the communication aspect, the two-way aspect? How are you going to be easy to message? How are you going to be responsive? If somebody leaves you a great review, how are you going to respond to that in a timely manner? If even worse, somebody leaves a bad one, how are you going to turn that into a positive? And it's very possible to turn, we mustn't be worried about reviews. How are you going to turn a potential negative into something that shows how caring and how human you are, and how anything that, say it's not a 5-star review, how can you learn from that to turn it into a 5-star in the future? So if your communication's public, you can help to market your business by having great communications. The flip side of that is if you're not there, if you're not responsive, then actually that can have a negative effect. So we always want to be using all the tools at our disposal to make sure that the most positive effect is felt throughout. Okay, so now we've had a think about some of the benefits. As I say, if we haven't mentioned the benefits for you and for your business, or that you want to get out of your digital marketing, let Melanie know. It doesn't have to be a question you see in the chat. You can just pop in a comment for her that will tell her, so she can tell me what you want to get from your digital marketing. And then she can pass it on, we'll talk about it. So hopefully you're fully sold on the benefits of doing this stuff. The next thing is, well, how are we going to go about it? So let's explore some of those different channels, those different ways that you can communicate with your potential audience. Now, we're going to take a look through 6 different channels. As I say, I could happily speak for more than an hour on any of these, really, but I'm not allowed to. Melanie's very strict on that. So what we're going to do is take a whistle-stop tour around some of the main channels. The reason we can do that is because if you check out the rest of the Digital Garage content, there are lots of ways that you can learn more in depth. What I want you to have from today's session is a good overview of the tools that you're going to choose, the channels you're going to use, so that then you can go in more depth and find out about those channels. Okay. What I don't want you to think is by the end of today you have to have everything boxed off and finished. That's not where it is. This is a jumping off point. This is a starter for you. So we're going to take a look at search. We're going to take a quick look at search engine optimization and also search engine marketing. We'll take a little bit of a look at social media marketing. We'll take a look at display marketing. Now, those of you who have been to all of these webinars will probably already have a good idea of what quite a lot of these things that we're going to talk about are. If not, we'll gen you up quite quickly, and you can go back, check out the Restaurant Association YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see the other webinars in this series. We'll take a look at one that's it's not new to the world, but it is new in this series. So we'll take a little bit of a look at email marketing, and then we'll also talk about content. And content is actually what underpins the rest of it, really. Content are the things that you talk about, the words you use, the images, and content super important in how can you use the words and the pictures and the videos and all the different places you could use them on the internet to tell your story, to show people what it's going to be like when they come and visit you. What's the ambience like? What's the food like? Are they going to feel comfortable there? Is it their kind of place? Also super important at the minute, as we're moving towards reopening, things are going to look different. So you can use your content, and as I say, we'll talk about it as we go through, but how can you use content to show people what to expect so they feel confident in coming and booking in with you? All right, so let's have a quick think about search. Now, search, for those of you who joined us for the second webinar in the series, which was Get Your Business Visible Online, this is going to be familiar to you. All right, so let's take a little look. Getting started with search marketing. You will have seen this. Even if you've never thought about it before, you will have seen something a little bit like this. This is what we call the search engine results page, because it's where the search engine displays your results. Main three things on it. First of all, in the yellow at the top, up here, you see if we were all together, we could do this as a little quiz, and you'd all get the answers right, because we use this every day. We use it intuitively. So for those of you who haven't joined me before, I want you to become a student of search. Search is how we behave. As human beings, we are seeking creatures, we are finding creatures. We want to know answers, we want to know what's coming up. So how do we nowadays find an answer? Don't need to go to a library and look up a card index, because we have the power of the internet right here at our fingertips. So thumb tips, actually, for many of us. So we go along. However we access our search engine, we ask it a question. Here we've got best compact camera for travel. Okay, now best compact camera for travel. There again, those of you who have joined us for the earlier webinars will be familiar with this. The search engine result page flexes and tries to be as useful as possible. So here, our search term was best compact camera for travel. There we are. There it's appeared, just in yellow. We've got our search query. When we get our results, the top thing that comes, if relevant, if there are relevant ads to display, this is where some of those ads might show. Okay, now, here we've got shopping ads. You can tell they're ads because they're sponsored. And they are shopping ads. So people have said, right, best compact camera for travel. It's fairly likely that what's actually wanted there is somebody wants to buy a camera. So how do we show that person a camera to buy? That's something that might be needed. Okay, fantastic. So you get some ads. Now, I want you to do a search for, in your next time you're looking at search, think, okay, best Italian restaurant locally. Best country pub lunch. And look at those kinds of searches and see what comes back. People do a lot of that kind of best search, the local search. They want to be asking that kind of question. All right. And what you may get if you were to do, if you were to do a search that was looking for a venue, was looking for somewhere to go, was looking for somewhere to eat, you may well see here, instead of sponsored ads, you got a map come up with the pins on it. And we'll talk about pins on maps in a moment or two. So we have these that are sponsored listings. These particular ones are shopping ads. We also have clearly marked by the little green box with the little word ad. We have some ads, some paid advertising, search engine marketing. We'll talk about that in a moment. Third area we get is we come to the organic search listings. Okay, so the organic search listings, here they are. These are the they appear above the organic listings. I would never use the word free, because your time isn't free. The care and the love that's going to get into finding yourself found isn't free, but there's no charge made for anything being in these areas. Right, so to get into that bottom portion, those natural or organic search listings, as I say, there's a lot of work that goes into it. This is all about search engine optimization. Getting yourself found in search. So, as I say, if you want to know how to do search engine optimization, how to get really started strongly with that, then go back and find the YouTube channel for the Restaurant Association of Ireland, where you will find the, what do we call it? Get your business visible on Google webinar. That's going to help you get found there. A few tools to help you get started. First up, available at no charge, is a great tool called Google Search Console, and that is more accurately able to tell you how you rank on Google search. So you might do a few searches and see how you rank when on the searches you do. Things like popping in best country pub in Kildare. Okay, pop that in, do you come up? If you then click on your own and start clicking around, it's going to remember who you are. It's going to remember your preferences. So to get it, and it's not necessarily going to be, it's going to maybe know where you are and give you things that are local to you. If you're sat in your own pub and you're looking for local things, then it's going to be able to give you things that are local to where you are. You are the most local place to where you are. So instead of doing those kinds of searches where you have a look and see, it's a great place to start, but to get more accurate, more scientific, more data-based information, check out Google Search Console. That will show you how you rank for different things. It will also help you to find and fix any issues or errors on your website that are going to make you difficult to be ranked on Google. So fantastic tool to check out. And as I say, no charge to use that, just a bit of time and energy and persistence on your part to keep making those improvements, which is something that's really key to do. The next thing you can do is think about your content. Well, I've said all these things. I've got all these pictures. How are they structured? And you can actually submit a sitemap on Google, and that's going to help you to get found better. It will show the structure. It will mean that you are found more easily. And then really important is to actually create great content, the kind of things that your users want to read. And as I say, that might be pictures of your menu. They might be some of those dishes all beautifully laid out and presented. It might be pictures of people with their permission having fun. It might be when things reopen, those images, the words that show what people can expect when they come and see you. So check out that content, check out and see what people really want to see. And how to go about it. Best things to be doing are thinking, first up, there's no shortcuts towards search engine optimization. Anybody who tells you they can guarantee this, what works on search engine optimization is doing the good things well. Okay, so knowing who your people are, knowing who your audience are and what they want to read, then thinking about the words they're going to use. Keyword research means listening to people, asking people how they found you, and then using some of the tools available to do some more research and coming up with lists of those kinds of searches that people would do to find a business like yours. So, best country pub. If you're a country pub, think about making sure you describe yourself as a country pub. If you are a modern Italian restaurant, that's different to experience to a kind of trattoria feeling. So think about who you are and how you're really going to reflect what you stand for. And when you talk about who you are and what you stand for, that's where you use that really good, interesting content. Think beyond just words and pictures, think video as well. Videos go down really well with really telling those stories of people getting to you. And then you go through the things that make your web pages search friendly, which is where Google Search Console comes into its own. When you're thinking about being found on search, even though think about how your search result is going to appear in those search listings. Remember, there was a big headline and then there was some text underneath. Check it out next time you look at a search result. The headline is the title that's on your web page. So when you go into the metadata and all of this sorts of things, the title of your web page is what becomes that blue headline on your Google search, and then the meta description, which describes the page, is what becomes those couple of lines of text. Do they tell people what they're going to get when they get there? If you're talking all about yourself as a great, warm, friendly, relaxing country pub, put those sorts of things into those descriptions. But write them so a human can read them and think, that sounds like a lovely place, I'm going to engage with that. Okay, as I say, tons and tons and tons. Really key that you do not try to speed up that process with sneaky techniques like keyword stuffing, where you just write Irish country pub, Kildare country pub, pub, and you stuff those words into the page in a way that a human wouldn't want to read in order to try and fool the search engine. Take it from me, I've worked in with websites for, going on 15 years now. Even if it gives you a temporary boost, it does not work long term. Write great content that people want to read and then use the tools to make it findable. Now, we've spoken about it a bit. Customers are really searching for local business. So there's lots of areas you could focus on in search. Vital, I think, possibly more so than restaurants than for almost any other business, is to be found locally. If I'm looking for a restaurant to go to, I'm not looking for a restaurant. If I'm going out tonight, I don't want to find something 100 miles away. I want to find something local to me. Now, obviously, if it's a special night out, I might go a little bit further, but really, especially now over the last year, and as things open up, right now I want to know who's got outdoor dining that's open and what safety precautions are going to be in place. Okay, so a huge number of searches every single day are local in nature. What's open now? What's got the facilities I need? Okay, and right now you might have changed your business model. You might still be on the idea that you can do takeout and delivery. Okay, so think about how to leverage the power of location. And Google have a tool available at no charge called Google My Business. If you do not have a Google My Business listing yet, then absolute top of the pops when it came to those 1, 2, or 3 things you're going to do today is to get yourself found using Google My Business. Check out, as I say, our Get Your Business Visible Online webinar, because we do touch on it a bit more here. The tool you want to be doing is Google My Business, and you create your business listing. It appears on the right hand side when people are searching. It will also appear as a pin on the map. It might also appear when people are looking on their mobile. So it's a really great place where you can tell anybody using the world's biggest search engine when they're in your area all about your restaurant. And when things start to move up and people can travel again, imagine how useful that is if I'm gone to a new place. Remember when we used to go to new places? When we go to a new place, I know I've done this. I have walked past. I've jumped off a train. I've spotted where the cafe that I know that looks like a great place that I'm going to get a good coffee. And I've walked past other establishments because I've gone to the one I already knew about. And I knew about it through the Google My Business. Now, really importantly, as I say, with what's just happened with the reopening starting to happen, every time we take a step, make sure you check your Google My Business and check that you are portraying the current situation. We have never been, I don't think, in such a fast-moving set of circumstances as we are now. So every time there's a change in what you're allowed to do or in what you choose to do, make sure that's reflected on your Google My Business. So you can update your business info there. What hours are you open? What services are you offering at the minute? Check out your attributes. When you go on your info page, check out all the information's there is correct. Anything with a little pencil next to it, you can edit. So do a review today. Go and review that everything's right, and also maybe pop a post on there. Put a post on that's saying, fantastic news, our outdoor dining area is now open. This is what it looks like. This is what we're offering. This is the kind of menu. Or maybe a post that's saying, we're still having to wait, but we are continuing to offer Eat at Home, so you can collect from us with your pre-booked slot, and here's how you go about doing it. Okay. You might want to add a virtual tour, especially if it looks a bit different when you reopen. Think about making sure you're showing people, we'll talk about content again, but you're showing people how things are going to look when they get there, so they can feel more confident and trust you more when they are booking. And we've spoken a bit about reviews. Google My Business is one of the places that gives you right of reply to those reviews. So you can use those reviews, display the 5 stars proudly, but also if somebody says, I came along and the service was slow, then you might want to say, thanks for your feedback. You came along on the first Saturday night when we were reopened. We cook great quality fresh food. It does take a little bit longer, but we hope that, you did find it worth it when it came. That sort of thing. Thinking about how you can respond in a really positive manner. Just want to quickly touch on the final area of search is search engine marketing. Okay, so search engine marketing is a little bit different. So the things we've spoken about before are all the things that you can work hard on, use your ingenuity, and there's no charge for using those tools. Search engine marketing is a little bit different. So with search engine optimization, those listings are at no charge and you optimize for keywords. With search engine marketing, we're basically looking at paid ads. So you pay, but only if somebody clicks on your ad. So if your ad is served 10 times but only clicked on once, you only pay for that one click. Obviously, engagement-wise, you want as many people, of the right people who see your ad as possible, to click through on it. But you will only pay when you get those clicks. You bid for the keywords rather than just optimizing, saying this is what we hope to be found for. You actually say, right, these are the words that we are going to bid on. You can only appear for keywords that you are relevant for. So somebody who is, a shoemaker couldn't bid for clicks on cheap holidays. You have to be relevant, because what the search engine wants to achieve is to get the best results as quickly as possible to its users. That's why we use our search engine. We use a search engine so we get the best results really quickly. Okay, so there's lots of signals and lots of different factors that go into the ads. For those of you who came to see us for last webinar out, which was Get Started with Digital Advertising, you're already an old hand at this, but if you decide that this is something you want to do go back and review that Get Started with Digital Advertising webinar. So with search engine optimization, it can take time to rank on that first page of Google. Okay, a lot of time and love and care needed, but the time it takes is something that people do mention. And you can use things like Google Search Console to get that to happen more speedily. With search engine marketing, you can get on to the first page straight away if your ad's good and your search terms are right and people are searching for what you've got to offer. You can also get yourself off that first page. The great thing about search engine marketing is it's easily turn off and onable. So you might decide to run some ads to try and get bookings in, and then you realise that, okay, you're booked out, you're full. You might want to turn those ads off, because what you don't want to be doing is paying for ads, paying for those clicks when they can't actually book. Key with search engine marketing is making sure what happens after the click. Okay, so in terms of running search ads, the tool you need is called Google Ads. Okay, you can log into your Google Ads with your Google account, or if you don't have a Google account yet, you can create one. And each ad starts with a campaign. If you sell lots of products, then if you wanted to do different campaigns around, like you might have a summer festival kind of campaign, you might have a Sunday lunch kind of campaign, you might want to have different campaigns for different times of the week. You might decide to run campaigns to get people to come to your quiz night on a Tuesday when you're quiet already, whereas you're already fully booked on a Friday and Saturday, so you don't want to get people in at those times. So it's all about thinking about, I think for hospitality, possibly more than anything, you're not just trying to sell products off shelves. You're trying to make sure you've got capacity whenever possible. So thinking about those times when you're less than capacity and thinking, right, who could fill those seats? How are we going to get them in? When do we need to advertise to get those guys in? So you're going to have a search campaign. You're going to think about the words that people are going to be looking for. So if people are searching things to do on a Tuesday night, And be thinking around then, okay, for different campaigns, Tuesday night, quiz night, fun with pals. It's not date night. It's fun with friends night. So be thinking about all those kinds of things. What's going on in those people's worlds? Then you write a good ad. Okay, and that's kind of good down to you. You've got to think about those people and how are you going to get them to want to come to your place. Think about the keywords that you want to bid for and really get good tight lists of those keywords for different campaigns. Okay, extensions are fantastic. They make your ad bigger. If you look at some of the ads when you're a student of search now, take a look. Look at what those ads do, and some of them are bigger, and that's because they've implemented these free things called extensions. So as a restaurant, you might have within your ad a link to call you up on a special phone number that know's come through the ad. You might have a link to your booking engine right there within the ad, so people see your ad. You don't have to come to your website and dilly about following steps. Right from the ad, you can just hit book a table, and there they are, the table booking comes through to you. Think about making those processes as short and as easy as possible. Ad extensions are great ways to do those. So if you are running ads, add all the extensions in you can, and make sure you connect your analytics account so you know what happens after those clicks. You don't just want to be buying in the clicks and then them not converting to, for instance, bookings as we go. Okie dokie, display marketing. You might not think that you've seen display, but you will have. Okay, people always say, I don't understand, I've never heard of display advertising, but you will have seen it because display is basically banner ads. Okay, responsive display ads that use machine learning to create relevant ads that can fit anywhere across the web. Basically, when people aren't looking for you, you can be found. They might not even be looking for a restaurant, but you can start to get your message up and around them. When we talked about getting started with digital advertising, we went into a lot of display, so do go back and check. But basically, display is getting your message. When search is great when people have that intent. I'm ready to buy, I'm hungry right now, I'm going to search. Display goes back a few steps and displays it. If I'm reading a blog, if I'm reading a news site, I'm reading the local news online, I might get some ads for local restaurants appearing around the page. Which means later on, it's like in the back of my mind, they start to get lodged. When I am feeling hungry, that's when I'll click on those ads. We use Google Ads again to run display ads. You go through the Google Ad platform. Lots of different ways to target it. You can choose which websites to display. You can also use demographics. So if I'm going to do my Tuesday night quiz night, who are the kinds of people who come to quiz nights? So think about the type of person it might be. And then you've got to create great ads. With display ads, you can use lots of lovely visuals. So if it's a restaurant, let's see the beautiful food you're cooking. Okay, let's really showcase all you've got. Display ads come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. You can use images, you can use text ads. So think about your customers. Think about what they read, where they get their information. And then try and match up where your ads display. Remarketing is something that tends to be more for, I always get followed around the internet by pairs of shoes that I've left. If somebody's visited your website and you want to, but didn't go ahead and make a booking, you might want to use remarketing to show them display ads of the restaurant that got away. Remind them that you're there. As we do with everything, test it, try it, do more of what works and do less of what doesn't. Okay. Let's think social media marketing. Okay. Social media marketing is basically, it's another way that you can go out to people who don't know about you yet. Lots of people hang out on social media. That's where they're spending quite a lot of their leisure time. So as a hospitality business, it might be a great place to be found. And it's good for people who've never heard of you before. You can get yourself in front of them, but also people who know and like you. You can turn that into a kind of repeat buying loyalty place where they can keep coming back to feel good about you. What's new with you? So you can do it at the top and the bottom of people who've never heard from you and people who know lots about you as well. Okay, so it can help you with your sales. Value to brand wise, you can, you like our spaghetti, come and try our tortellini. You can show the broader range of what you offer. You can be promoting those special nights, special events that you've got going on. And you can really use it to learn about your customers. What do they like and don't like? That might be the kind of content you post. It could be when you're posting, when they're hanging out online, what's going on in their world. Okay. 2 different types, as with pretty much everything online. There's the organic stuff, the stuff that you can do where there's no cost for those things. Remember, there is your time, there is your energy, there's your research, there's you being here with me today. With organic social media, if you're not paying for clicks, then you're only going to normally reach either your followers, people who already know about you, and some of your followers, should I say, and some of potentially their friends. Okay. With paid social, you pay for the views, for the actions, or for the clicks from the posts, from the ads that you place. Different in all the different social media platforms. As I say, join us back for the digital advertising webinar to see exactly, some of the more the things you can do. But the great thing is, if somebody is on the platform that you are using, you've got the potential to reach them, no matter if they've never heard about you before. Things I'd be looking to do is, first up, restricting the people. I always want to be looking at a smaller audience. I don't want to sell to everybody. First up, I want to sell to the people who are within 5 miles of me. Okay? So reduce it by location. Then you can think about demographics. Male, female, old, young. Who are the kinds of people that you want to get at? Or knowing all of these things will help all of your marketing. Then you choose the place you want to be seen, making sure that the channel that you choose is something that your customers are going to be using. And then come up with great content, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. When you're doing social media, less is more. Do not try, please don't go away from here. And one of your things that you do is set up an account on all these different social media channels. Okay, just because we've listed lots that you could use doesn't mean we're saying you should do all of them. Choose one. Really get to know it. See how it's used. Use it for your own life as well. See how people behave on there, and that's how you're going to be able to tailor what you do as a business to what they do as people. Because understanding your audience is going to be helpful, and then being consistent. Okay. Posting regularly, making sure that you use the logos and you talk about who you are. Come up with a content calendar and post as regularly as you can. Email marketing, it's a bit of the original and best, really. It's absolutely where I started out. When I talk about email marketing, what I am not talking about is spam mail. Okay? I am talking about permission-based, which means you readers have got to opt in. And it's opt-outable, so they only get it if they want it. If you want to hear from me, I want to speak to you. If you don't want to hear from me, I don't want to waste my time doing it. And it gives you an opportunity to communicate on a really large scale, but it should feel like it's one-to-one. Okay, so how to go about it? You need to select a platform. Lots of platforms available. You just have to search for, email marketing platforms and see what's right for you. Some of them there's no charge for. If you want to get more technical with it, there are features that would need charging. Then you need permission to speak to people. So you need to start from the ground up and build a list of people who want to hear from you. Okay? Get their permission to contact them. Start putting that into a spreadsheet when you get them and make sure you know that you've got those permissions. And then you treat them like VIPs. If you're going to run an offer, run it to your email subscribers as, they're the VIPs. They're the people who know you and like you. It's much easier to get them to come back, remind them what a great time they had, than it is to go out and find new people to come along. Segmenting the group. So for instance, if I've got lots of people on my email list, who of those have visited me before and who of those haven't? That's my easiest segmentation. I'll speak differently to the people who've never been and I want to entice them to try it. It's different to the people who know me and love me and I want to get them to come back. Keep your emails short and keep them simple. Just because you could make them all fancy and whizzy, remember it's a one-to-one communication. The fancier it is, the more likely people are to think, oh, that's a bit too fancy, that feels a bit spammy, and off it goes. And measure, test, try, measure. Finally, content. Content underpins everything. Content is what you are going to say. How are you going to be interesting? So think about not just, it's words and pictures basically, but think about video. Video tells those stories so well. Blogs are where you tell your story in your own words, but shorter posts. Google My Business is an amazing place to put your content out there. You might do case studies, you might have reviews, you might have, if you do a wedding, how do you ask that happy couple when they're feeling all glowy and warm and lovely towards you? They could be a case study, a testimonial. They could tell their story on your behalf and show you in a great light. Think of all those kinds of opportunities you might have. It might be a guide, how to find us. If you're down a twisty, twiny country lane, how do people get to you? Show them the way. Make it as easy as possible. In terms of content marketing, knowing your customer is absolutely key. Who are they? We've spoken about this throughout. And at what point do they need the kind of information? Maybe if you do a booking, that's when you send out the how to find us info. At different stages, they're going to need different. They don't need to know how to find you if they're just considering their options. But when they're ready to make a booking, that's absolutely key information. That at the start, I don't know you yet. Let's see pictures of your food. Let's see pictures of the ambience. Let's see what you're doing to keep us safe. Okay. So, content to facilitate the sales process just means knowing that different people need different information at different points. So, using your content in different ways. Storytelling's fantastic. Storytelling is how we communicate as human beings. Okay. All right, I'm going to check in. I can see there aren't any questions coming through to Melanie at the minute. So do feel free. We will take another quick look at questions at the end, but I'm really keen that we actually pull this all together into a marketing framework. Okay, so I've got 6 steps for you. All right. We're going to take a look at your business goals and objectives. We're going to take a look at your budget and resources. We're going to take a look at your audience. And from those 3 to get things together, we're going to use those to decide 1 or 2 channels for you to start. Okay? So once you know what your channels are, then you plan your activity, and then you're going to do some measurement. Measurement's going to be built all the way in through. I will show you these 6 steps again at the end. I will also go through now each of those steps one to one. Now, we have here Max, and Max is a hairdresser. I don't really want to talk about Max being a hairdresser, because although Max is a really lovely, easy business to understand, Max isn't in hospitality. So let's imagine now that Max is in hospitality. Max has a restaurant, okay? The business goals actually are kind of fairly the same. The restaurant wants to get more customers through the door, new customers and past customers. Right now, this restaurant wants people to feel safe and secure when they come to them. So how are they going to do that? How are they going to make people locally know they exist? Those are really good business objectives that, so think about what you want to achieve. You want to get known locally, you want to get known for being reopened, and you want to get people locally to know that you're a great place to go. That's what you want to achieve as a business, okay? Your business, you start with what you want to achieve as a business, and then think about how online can help. Okay, so business objectives wise, I want more people through the door who know me, more people who've never heard of me before. I want them to make bookings. I want them to come. I want them to have a great time, and I want them to tell their friends. So we want to say it might be our online objective is to increase online bookings. Okay, it might be that we're not quite at the booking stage yet. So maybe you want to remind people that you're still here. You might be wanting to take online takeaway orders. You might decide that you want to increase your social media followings, increase your visibility on social, build up your email list so that when you're ready to reopen, you've got a ready-made audience to go at. Okay, so think how digital can support you as a business. Digital shouldn't be over here doing its own thing. Digital marketing should be absolutely fundamentally underpinning what you're doing as a rest of a business. So, for example, if I wanted more people to be aware I existed, my online objective might be to increase my online reach and awareness. If I wanted to get those repeat customers coming back, then it might be that I want to increase that traffic to my website. I want to drive up my bookings. If I'm taking online bookings, I want to be getting those people committed to coming, filling that restaurant up with people the right number of people for the space I've got. So budget and resource, here we are. We've got Max. Max doesn't have a website yet, as it's too much of an investment right now. 5 years ago, that would have been a dreadful stumbling block, not having a website. Right now, it is absolutely possible to run a great business online without having that website. So don't worry about it. I hope we've spoken about it. So audience. So who are the people who are going to make these bookings? Okay. For Max, they're female, local area. So are yours male or female? I'm assuming they're probably going to be local to you or when they visit the area. What do you know about them? Max knows that Max meets his customers and knows they're female and over 30 years old. What do you know about your customers? Start writing these rich descriptions of people. Do you have an older crowd? Is it different crowds on different days? Is it fun bubbly or is it a more serious coupley? Think about those people, and there will be different people. Maybe there's, Friday night's a different crowd to Saturday night. There's a different crowd to the families who come in on Sunday lunchtimes. You're probably going to want to be looking at breaking it down by those people and thinking, right, when are we quiet? We're quiet in the week. Let's look at how we can reach more people. Or who are total loyal customers? We always get the Sunday afternoon families in. Let's really go all out to make sure we get as much on a Sunday afternoon as possible when we reopen. So depending on your online objectives, depending on who your audience are, depending what you need to achieve as a business, that's what's going to help you choose which channels to go for. So for instance, if I wanted more people to know about me, I wanted to increase my online reach and awareness, I might decide to use display, social media and content to get my message out there. If people already know about me and I want to increase that loyalty, get more people coming back, again, I might use social media at that other end of the sales funnel. They know about me. I want them to love me. Email marketing, because they've given me their details so I can send them lovely special offers. And content. There again, using that content. What am I going to say to appeal to those people? So then we get into the detail. Okay. So planning that activity. So remember, Max, online objectives to reach more people in the local area and get more returning customers. Doesn't have a website yet. How are they going to use digital? This is very similar to how a restaurant might use it. First up, if you haven't done this already, list your business on Google My Business. And absolutely make sure you're updating for all of those changes as they happen. Make use of posts, make use of COVID posts as well. Okay? Then maybe setting up a Facebook post, collecting reviews, Max is posting pictures of customer hairstyles. Maybe it's of the menu changes. Maybe you've got a seasonal menu. Maybe you've got fancy drinks menu coming out. Start putting out content on your Facebook, for example, if that's the channel you chose to use. Max chose Facebook because he was looking at females over 30. You might choose a different channel. And because he's using Facebook for his kind of hub, on his social media, he then is going to expand that out and maybe use some advertising on social media to go. He's saying out there's an offer to attract new customers. If you're doing an offer for new customers, make sure you have something similar for existing customers. Okay, then you need to measure it. And I've said probably already that the great thing about the internet is how much data you can get. So measurement's great. So think about setting SMART objectives. If you don't know what a SMART objective is, then a quick search of any marketing will show you that it's something that's specific, that it's measurable, that it's achievable, realistic and time-bound. So basically, we're going to put constraints on ourselves. We're not just going to say we want to have a full restaurant every night. Okay, let's think. We want to increase our bookings on a Sunday lunch by 50% by the end of the month. Okay, we want to make sure that throughout June and July, we make sure our outside facilities are fully booked when the weather's good. So think about what you can achieve in a shorter timescale. When we go in, we have to think short timescales now anyway, but when we go out into going looking further, think about what you can achieve and set your objectives to be realistic and set them time bound as well. So remember, Max doesn't have a website, can't afford one right now, but wants to reach more people in the local area and get those returning customers in. This is what a digital marketing plan might look like for Max. And all he's got is his 6 different headings, and he's got information in each box. Okay? So that's what, it might be on a document, it might be on Post-its on a wall. But popping out some information under each of those 6 headings is going to be how your marketing plan should start to take shape. Okay, so we've looked at goals and objectives, we've looked at your budget and resources, what you can afford to do. Don't overstretch yourself, especially as things start to get busier in your real world. Make sure that you've set the time aside in the digital world. Okay? Think about who you're trying to talk to and then pick your channels. Pick 1 or 2 channels. Don't try and do everything. Plan that activity and make sure you're measuring. Do more of what works and less of what doesn't. I can see there's no questions, Lex. And Melanie's also telling me to stop talking because we are out of time. So next step-wise, if you'd like to, pop your next steps in the chat. One of the next steps should probably be to check out the new Google for Small Business website, which is your one-stop shop to find the right tools and resources for your business. That's the step-by-step online success guide, the digital toolkit, and also lots of tips with dealing with COVID-19. So check out google.com/small business. Other than that, as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, if you're interested in more training from Google Digital Garage, a few ways you can continue learning. We've got more Google Digital Garage webinars in different subjects. Check out the description below for those, for the information on those. If you want to share your experience on social media, then please use the hashtag Digital Garage. If you want to carry on learning in your own time, check out the Google Digital Garage website. There's more online training courses available to you 24/7. Finally, any feedback from today's session, please complete the feedback form link down in the description box. Once you complete the feedback form, a link will appear for you to download today's content. So all of those things I had to move quite quickly through. You'll be able to get all the detail. You can also re-watch today's training. Other than that, thank you so much for joining today. Thank you to the Restaurants Association, Restaurants Association of Ireland for being our fantastic partners over the course of the last 5 webinars. Thanks to Melanie for being a fantastic moderator. We both look forward to welcoming you again to another Google Digital Garage training session soon. Have a lovely rest of your day.